Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy for May 2022. First, we're going to look at the numerology and energy for the collective, which we are all a part of. And then we're going to break it down into the individual life path forecast. So before I get started, of course, this is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So in the Northern Hemisphere, May brings flowers, springtime, and 11-2 energy this year. So when we have master level energy in a cycle, we may notice the challenges or obstacles to be a bit more pronounced, but the same can be said of the rewards of this cycle. So think of it like taking an accelerated master's level course. We'll have to put in the effort, but the satisfaction will be worth it. Similar to a 2 cycle, you may notice your experience sort of hasten, and this can help to push us to be much more decisive within our actions and our personal circumstances. Sudden events can occur now that require us to quickly go within, follow our instincts or our intuition, and take the reins within our own experience when we're deciding next steps. So, in doing so, we alleviate the tendency for being influenced by others during this time because there's a sense of urgency present that doesn't support calling multiple friends, weighing the options, reviewing pros and cons. No, you already know what to do. And this energy is assisting you in trusting yourself and the cues of your body and your own inner knowing. So don't miss an opportunity because you don't trust yourself enough to make a decision. This energy can feel almost hectic and exciting, and it can create a tendency for impulsivity. So this is fine if, of course, if it feels right to you and if you're following your own intuition. However, be aware of feeling like you have the need to sort of make a knee-jerk commitment at this time, simply to, rush through the process to get to the conclusion. If it feels aligned, great. But if it feels sort of cloudy and you're not quite sure, and you're still making haste simply to get to the end goal, then you may wish at a later time that you had taken more time. So be patient, be tolerant, and be decisive. All of that will yield positive results during an 11-2 cycle. Legal dealings can come up now to be worked through as well. So financial settlements are possible, such as inheritance or lawsuits of some sort being finalized. Contractual agreements, partnerships can also come to the forefront. And this, of course, includes marriage, divorce, adoption, buying or selling a home, property, or material goods. This 11-2 energy is also beautiful energy for investing time and resources into learning something new or furthering your education in some way. So signing up for a course, going back to school, attending a workshop of some sort or a retreat, as well as traveling to new places and fully immersing yourself within a different culture. All of this is supported under this beautiful 11-2 energy. Throughout May, we could find that we are more sensitive, and this can be a phenomenal time for enhancing our intuitive and psychic abilities. So this can be a very creative, inspirational period. So pay attention to any insights, dreams, and ideas that come flooding in at this time. So chances are, even if you don't take action on these new ideas, these inspirations, you'll see them resurface in some way again, if they're meant to, right? So at this stage, simply write them down and feel into how you want to work with them. Some you may release, and others you may feel compelled to create something much more tangible. This can be a very exciting cycle for this sort of process. So as mentioned, with any master energy comes master level tests and challenges to figure out and to overcome in order to extract the wisdom needed to move forward. So you may see exciting, big, new ideas emerge at this time, but those big new ideas may be coupled with just as big of challenges to overcome in order to achieve whatever this new goal is. So remember, challenges don't always indicate that something isn't meant for us. Sometimes those challenges are actually allies in assisting us to master whatever it is that we're attempting to achieve. So very infrequently is it true that mastering comes easily. It takes effort, persistence, skill, time, trial and error, all of these things, right? So this is going to be a period to keep moving forward despite the challenges to achieve whatever it is that you're working towards. That is, if it still calls to you. So if there is still fire behind you with whatever this is, then go for it. Keep going. You can overcome whatever challenges surface, and ultimately you're meant to extract the wisdom from those challenges. They're not meant to deter you necessarily or throw you off course. Now, of course, if you're still pursuing an old dream that's no longer your dream, but somebody else's, and your intent and motivation is sort of all about ego over true inspiration and desire, then you may continue to feel sort of out of alignment with this goal, and the challenges will become so great that you're only left feeling defeated versus inspired. So there is a difference. This 11-2 energy will assist us in recognizing sort of where we land with that. And, as we move through this journey, whether the goal is still truly ours or whether it's time to be released for a new one to enter. Big energy for May. And again, it's always what we choose to do with this energy that ultimately makes the difference. So when we're working with master level energy, we can anticipate that there will be master level challenges, but again, it's just assisting us in mastering the energy. So let's move on to the individual life path numbers. Life path number 1, I pulled an animal spirit card for May for you all, and you got flamingo spirit. And this is such a beautiful, unique energy. And that's exactly what was coming through with flamingo. Is just this message of celebrating your uniqueness, your quirkiness, your beauty within and without, and really taking the time to celebrate who you are in this moment. So in other words, who you already are, who you already have become, not just striving to become, the end result or, your highest expression or whatever, but really taking the time and the energy to celebrate who you have become, who you are in this moment, that uniqueness, that quirkiness, that beauty, and sometimes with ones especially, it can just feel like there's this larger than life goal that you're trying to step into or to achieve or to create. And it can sometimes feel like a very lonely journey because you're not meant to fit into the mold, right? You're not meant to quote unquote fit in. You're meant to stand out. And that can be a little frustrating. And you can try sometimes to change who you are to fit that mold, only to find later that that doesn't work. And then you have to go back to your own uniqueness and who you are. And so I think this month, especially working with master level energy of the 11, there's really going to be opportunities if you take them. It's what you do with them, of course, but there's going to be opportunities, I think, for you all to really just pause and celebrate how far you've come, how much you have achieved, what you've overcome, the wisdom that you've already extracted from that, to celebrate your big, bold, unique ideas, and just really spend some time in reflection, not only of how far you've come, but also of the beautiful, unique human being that you are in this moment. And so really coming strongly, that message with flamingo spirit. Okay, So, looking at the month ahead for you all, this looks like a really big month for new opportunities, big new starts, taking those big risks that ones are sort of known for, and really just trusting yourself. Now, I know that came through really strongly in the initial message for the collective, but I think for you all, it's going to feel very strong. So, there is definitely something here about setting off on your own for something. So if it can do with like relationships or whatnot, but really I'm getting this feeling like creatively in your creative self-expression, however you do that, there's something here about leaving the status quo, of not necessarily continuing along a path that forces you to do things the way things have been done. But again, to step into that one energy of blazing your own trail. And so again, this can feel like a little bit of a lonely journey, or a lonely start, let's say, because typically ones are going to find the resources and the people to help support them on their mission, whatever that is. But initially it can feel a little bit like taking a risk, or again, kind of venturing out on your own. So I see this for some people as maybe having worked for someone or working on a team where your creative self-expression, your creative voice was not recognized or celebrated, and you have an opportunity now to venture out on your own, or to venture into a new environment that's much more supportive of your big ideas, your unique ideas. And that again will allow you to really embrace and to share those ideas in a really in a way that something tangible can come from that. So definitely seeing a really pivotal new start for you all that has to do with creativity, creation, purpose, whatever, what have you. But there's something here about your big ideas, your inventive mind, and taking that sort of to the next level. So seeing that coming in very, very strongly at the beginning of the month. So pay attention to those ideas that come in for you, because they're the ones that are you're sort of, I believe that we're meant to follow, are going to be the ones that scare us a little bit, right? That feel outside the comfort zone, because that's where the growth is. And so that's where new things can happen, where new creativity can occur, new creation can occur. So I feel like you all might be feeling that push, kind of feeling compelled to make a big decision. Again, 11-2 energy that we're in May is very decisive energy. It's pushing us, sort of forcing us to make these big decisions, even if we don't have all the answers. And so, maybe not being fully impulsive on those decisions, but this is, I feel like, something maybe that if this is relevant for you, that you've been thinking about for a while, that you've been tinkering with, that you've sort of been exploring. And I feel like the opportunity is going to surface, or the idea, the puzzle pieces will come together to assist you in stepping onto this new path, this new journey. And I can see that also reflected mid-month, where again, there's sort of this period, I feel like, where it's going to sort of feel like you are standing alone, like maybe people aren't understanding these new big ideas that you have or what you want to implement. And so, you just have to remain true to self. You just have to continue to come back to your own integrity and what your truth is, what that looks like, and how you need to pursue that, whatever that looks like. And so it can be about something that you're changing actually with self. It doesn't have to be creative. It doesn't have to be necessarily like creative output in an external way. It can be something that you're changing with self. So maybe you're changing your appearance in some way. Maybe you're changing the way that you identify with something. And maybe that looks very different than what people are used to with you. And so that can be a little bit jarring for the external world. And so I think the message is just, you don't have to have people on board with you in order to stand within your truth. The right people will come at the right time. You just have to trust yourself and follow whatever this is, whatever this instinct, this intuition, wherever it's guiding you. and whatever feels most authentic for you. So there can kind of be this feeling mid-month of, again, sort of like following your truth and feeling sort of isolated in doing so. But just know that that's not going to last forever. And I think you're probably going to see the people start to come in actually fairly quickly to support you in whatever this is. But just initially, it could be a little bit, again, jarring, or just feeling, again, just like you're isolated, that nobody understands you, that you don't fit in, whatever the case may be. And you just need to stay true to self and keep moving forward. Take those risks. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't be easily influenced at this time to change direction if it doesn't speak to you, if it doesn't feel true for you. That's going to be so incredibly important. And I think that's why Flamingo Spirit came in so strongly for ones, is because, again, this month especially, when you're making these big decisions, when you're making these big, bold choices, you are meant to celebrate yourself, like celebrate who you are, like at your core. And don't let other people who don't understand that or who have fear around that change that decision, change that inner knowing for you. This is going to be really important for ones this month, especially. And then end of the month, I'm definitely seeing something gelling for you, something coming together, some kind of union of sorts. Now, this can be relationships. This can be around career or creativity. This can also be around legal matters. So again, like financial settlements, some kind of inheritance coming through that sort of helps and boosts your resources in some way. This can also be, again, like selling or buying a house. Again, some kind of completion or coming together, some kind of gelling of something that before was sort of fragmented or you were working on, basically. But this feels really good. This feels very aligned. For some of you, this could be meeting a divine partner, whether that's in work or in like personal, like a romantic partnership. This does feel very much like, again, divinely guided. So pay attention to who comes into your sphere at the end of the month or around that time, because I do feel like whoever, or, you know, it could be more than one person, whoever comes in for you at this time, I think is going to be significant and I think is going to be important. Now, it could also be that this is somebody coming in who is going to bring with them the lessons that you need to learn. And so it might feel like a little bit more of a challenging partnership or relationship. But that's okay. You're meant to move through it, face the challenges, overcome those challenges, and extract the wisdom. And so see this person for the gift that they are in bringing those experiences, bringing an opportunity for a new perspective or a new way of looking at things. I think that's going to be important as well. So sometimes when these divine partnerships come in, we just think, oh, it should be, you know, butterflies and roses, and everything should be very easy and simple. And if it's not, then they're not for us. And I'm not necessarily just talking about like romantic relationships. I'm talking about like colleagues and, you know, creative partners and business partners and what have you. All, you know, the whole spectrum of that falls under the umbrella of relationships, right? Sometimes we think, well, if this is too hard, then it's not meant for us. And the reality of it is that a lot of times those people who enter our lives that trigger us or that bring the challenges or the complications or whatever force us to look at things differently, force us to find a better way to accomplish something or to meet the end goal that we wouldn't have been sort of forced to do had we not come across this person and the challenges that they brought with them, right? So ultimately, it's all a gift, even if when we're in it, it can feel a little bit challenging. And I'm not saying that's necessarily the case. You may meet somebody that does feel very beautiful and very aligned and very easy. That's wonderful too. But just be open to whoever shows up on your doorstep and sort of what they have to offer and the new perspectives and experiences that they can bring with them. I think that's going to be important, all while not losing sight of who you are and not forgetting to celebrate, again, who you are in this moment. I think that's going to be really, really important for ones as you continue to make these big decisions moving forward. So I hope it's a beautiful May for you all, ones. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.